and now the co-pilot. Still a father, but now a friend. Still an electric car, just moving electrified. Still a night out, but everything fits in. Still hard work, just pulling easy. Still a legend, just pulling legendary. Chevrolet, making life's journey just better.
Who's USAA made for? It's made for this guy, a veteran who honorably served. And it's made for her. She's serving now. We made it for all branches and all ranks, whether they served one tour or made a career of it. We also make USAA for military spouses and their kids. USAA is easy to work with. You can save you money on auto, home, and renters insurance. Become a member today. We'll get an insurance quote at usaa.com/quote. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
At VisionWorks, we know it's easy to forget to use your vision benefits before the year's up. This is us making sure you do. Use them before you lose them. That's our 100-day guarantee. VisionWorks, see the difference.
Police murder of unarmed black men has been an American way of death across centuries. After seeing the most comprehensive police reform bill ever introduced in Congress, I've begun to wonder if now is the time. If now is the time the protesters finally win.
The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell, Nights at 10 on MSNBC.
Good evening, I'm Lawrence O'Donnell, and this is night 4 of MSNBC's election coverage. And at this midnight hour Eastern time, we are entering our 5th calendar day of counting votes in America to determine the winner of the Electoral College. We already have a winner chosen by America's voters. Joe Biden has now won 4 million more votes than Donald Trump. That is an insurmountable lead that is only going to increase. The final Electoral College vote will be determined by the battleground states still counting votes: Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. Joe Biden has a lead in all of those states at this time. Joe Biden's lead in Pennsylvania continues to increase. There is no indication that the remaining uncounted Pennsylvania votes will change the Biden trajectory upward in Pennsylvania. Winning Pennsylvania at this point would make Joe Biden the president-elect. Joe Biden's lead continues to increase in Georgia and Nevada. Earlier tonight, Joe Biden addressed the nation.
We're going to win this race. Just look at what has happened since yesterday. 24 hours. We were behind in Georgia. Now we're ahead. We're going to win that state. 24 hours ago, we were behind in Pennsylvania, and we are going to win Pennsylvania. And now we're ahead, but we're winning in Arizona, winning in Nevada. In fact, our lead just doubled in Nevada. We're on track to over 300 electoral votes, electoral college votes. Look at the national numbers. We're going to win this race with a clear majority of the nation behind us. We've gotten over 74 million votes. Let me repeat that, 74 million votes. That's more than any presidential ticket has ever gotten in the history of the United States of America.
You know, once again, President Obama is saving the day.
Leading up our discussion is Mike Nally, who is in Bloomington, Delaware, covering the Biden campaign, as he has been for 2 years now. Mike,
I wonder,
with Joe Biden's summary of where the election stands at this hour, we're actually able to give Steve Kornacki a rest. He came out and wanted to tell the country exactly where this is, and I know the way he talked about it tonight, it was much more that Joe Biden has no doubt, no question, there's no hesitation about Joe Biden is going to be the next president of the United States. Kamala Harris is going to be the next vice president of the United States.
Yeah, that's right, Lawrence. I mean, first it has to be said that this is not the speech that he began the day thinking he was going to be delivering tonight. As the day started and as we saw Joe Biden take the lead in Pennsylvania, Biden for a victory celebration, one that would have happened outside, one that would have concluded with fireworks and a crowd of, well, cars. And in a pandemic, this is how we celebrate if you're on the Democratic side of the aisle. But instead, what did we see from Joe Biden? I think everything you see and hear from him, you have to look through the prism of governing, and that's because that's how Joe Biden is looking at it. And so I thought it was interesting what he did in his remarks today. He did two things, really. One is talked about the need to unify the country, something he's been talking about in this campaign from the very beginning, especially important as he looks at potentially working with a Republican Senate, or at least a very close.
She didn't want to lay right on the sheet. She had to lay like on a big cushy part of the
What he
blanket.
called his mandate, that he
Really?
repeated the number of votes that you just heard that he's received. He talked about the fact that he's rebuilt the blue wall, that he's won states that Democrats haven't won in presidential elections in more than 2 decades. And so he's very clearly, I think, laying down a marker that, yes, he will try to work with Republicans to tackle the very serious challenges that this country faces, but that he also is going to do so from a position of strength. And that's, I think, important window into how the Biden team is looking at the challenge ahead. Yes, he hasn't been able to declare himself the winner yet, but clearly on a trajectory to do so.
Mike, is the Biden campaign surprised at the silence of Donald Trump today, and that they do not have to go out there to counter something wild said by the president?
I'm not gonna take it.
I think so. It's interesting, as we've heard from the Biden campaign about what is happening in the courts. They've almost moved beyond that at this point, focusing simply on his own plans at this point. And as you heard from one of Biden's spokesperson this morning about concern that the president might not willingly leave the White House, Andrew Bates, the campaign spokesperson, talking about the federal government.
That's what Mama does to me, lays across my legs when I'm trying to sleep.
The Biden concern at this point is really speaking in a way of presidential leadership that has been absent in their view. And it was all the more notable to hear him talk about the serious spikes in the coronavirus, the uncertain economy, on a night that we learned, of course, that the White House chief of staff himself has now been diagnosed with the coronavirus. The silence from the White House on this issue over the last week, definitely from the perspective of the Biden campaign, it's something that Biden was eager to speak about himself.
Mike, I wanted to talk about a change in the campaign that you, and the status, and Joe Biden's status, that you might be uniquely positioned to see. When he started off this campaign, he of course had the Secret Service delegation that a former vice president would have. Added to that, after he won the nomination.
Why are you two sitting here fighting when there is nobody else eating?
Party gets. And this week, within the last 48 hours, the Secret Service decided that they needed to send to Delaware an additional Secret Service detail, which is the Secret Service detail they send in when they believe they have a president-elect. This is not a Secret Service detail that was ever sent for John Kerry or for anyone who ever came in second in one of these races. It only goes when the Secret Service believes that the next president-elect needs more protection. Did you sense a change in Wilmington, in the Biden campaign, in Joe Biden, when that additional
The Secret Service is taking it seriously.
in a way, inside the game, creates a very different sensation of where we are?
Absolutely, Lawrence. Even different since what we encountered on Tuesday night, on election night when we came here, the ramp up in the security presence, I think, for all of us who had to come into this perimeter, what I've been calling the most heavily secured and closely scrutinized parking lot in America at this point. It was a bit different tonight. And we're in a part of Wilmington that actually is pretty easily secured, given the geography, the way that this particular part of the city is laid out. But I think what it speaks to, Lawrence, is the fact that, yes, the President of the United States himself may propose significant challenge in a transition.
Is that where he lives right now,
Delaware? Of a depleted incumbent president from what has historically been true. But it's a sign of the fact that there's, in the large apparatus of the federal government, the transitions of power can continue in a way that I've also heard from members of the Biden transition team
they've had good cooperation so far from the career agency officials that they've been working with under the law that guides transition forms.
NBC's Mike Nunley in Wilmington. Mike, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And on behalf of the network, thank you very much for covering this campaign for us, always keeping us to exactly what we needed to know every day in the Biden campaign. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
And we're joined now by Ben Rhodes, who served as Deputy National Security Advisor to President Obama. He's an MSNBC Marshall Sanders, well, she's White House correspondent for PBS NewsHour and MSNBC political analyst. And Yamish, let me begin with you. What are we to make of Donald Trump's silence, especially when we are watching Joe Biden day after day and
restrictions and like, do you think that's what they'll do once they're in office?
The president is fuming and really he's starting to feel deflated in some ways. But the White House is one solemn indignation as well as people trying to feel like they want to.
I mean, there's no other way to get rid of this, right?
The president would have on the table in order to win this election.
Especially if people are not going to wear masks.
One could possibly do it, but it doesn't look like he would do it. And people around the president, I mean, they spend most of the day really watching TV. So what you can make of that silence is that the president really doesn't know what to say because there's so many people in the White House trying to maybe figure out how to tell the president that he might lose this. Another thing to note is that now with the chief of staff having come up testing positive for COVID-19, and Bloomberg is reporting that there are up to 4 other White House staff members with the coronavirus. That also really means that the president is dealing with a dual crisis here: the political crisis of his presidency possibly slipping away, and then also his the White House again being a hotspot for the coronavirus that has been spiking every single day this week. And the president, of course, is not going to talk about the coronavirus at all. So that was a marked difference. We saw Joe Biden talk about the pandemic. The president hasn't done so.
Let's listen to more about what Joe Biden had to say tonight, including his sympathy for some people out there who might think that this vote counting is taking too long.
I know watching these vote tallies on TV moves very slow, and as slow as it goes, it can be numbing. But never forget, the tallies aren't just numbers.
I ain't never seen 2 pretty best friends.
Men and women who exercise their fundamental right to have their votes started. It must be coming clear each hour. It's a record number of Americans of all races, faiths, religions chose change over reform.
What would
And
you
give us a
like?
mandate for action on COVID, the economy,
Well, DoorDash
climate
delivers
change,
here now.
systemic racism.
This is true.
They made it clear. They want the country to come together.
Only
If you want KFC. That's it.
With Vice President during the Obama administration, what did you feel when you were listening to him tonight?
Well, I think it's worth stepping back and realizing
What are our
that this is an extraordinary moment for life.
Taco Bell, Jack in the Box. Taco don't travel
Someone who saw the job up close, every day.
Jack in the Box.
For years, I walked into the Oval Office,
McDonald's.
a little bit. The president says it's all fraud.
McDonald's and Salt's closed.
Democrats did it.
They start closing at 9.
Transparency. They're cheating. There's stories all over the country. They all
Okay, so
have
there's Jack in the Box.
a chance of finding any legitimacy for that kind of claim in
KFC.
this issue.
McDonald's in the room.
I think very little. I
Well, they're saying franchise, did they close it? No, because I know before the one.
Election day.
I know that they closed at 10, I think.
Statements, you're not going to get them trying
Carl,
to recreate it after the election.
Carl,
Caitlin
Jack in the Box,
reporting
McDonald's,
about the cable
KFC.
talent, is part and parcel of that. We really have to have sort of ready litigators on the ground, ready to go.
What?
Talking to people in the polling places to get their affidavits.
Yeah.
And Chris, you know, the other
I'm a Jack in the
problem
Box
is that
kind of guy.
President,
I love Jack in the
Republican
Box.
National Committee.
Just their monkey boxes.
Brought 40 students around the country.
They got 4 of them.
In an attempt to sort of.
The best one
playing
was
field, in their favor, and you know what? It's an abysmal track record.
It's weird ass shit.
Yeah, it's high food.
It's
Literally,
straight up.
they made it for like people coming in high and overnight. Now the allegations of fraud, bring as false cases for the.
Thanks, Dr. Bill.
Counselor, phone rings. I pick it up, they say, hey, Ben, you took care of us, we should be good. We need the rest. It's time to step up. Team lead, help us prove that there's fraud all over the country. Do you take the call?
I picked it up, I don't have a choice. Hey,
Do you take the call to the duty? Don't parse.
no, I mean, it's too late. It's too late. I think they're gonna have problems
That you can get.
now recruiting the legal team of their dreams. I mean, in Florida, by the Friday after the election, we had every Supreme Court and experienced practitioner we could find down in Florida, were lined up to come to Florida.
Yeah, some of them
Yeah,
are
Wilson, you ultimately,
right?
some of,
Yeah,
the
Tony
women
Rivera on there,
Third
you know,
Court,
Kavanaugh, are people who are involved.
and Justice Roberts, they're all helping us out. And so it was a quick recruitment effort.
All right, so now the next big issue, are these unknowns, but big fields. So the race gets called, Biden wins Pennsylvania. So, no, it's just beginning.
Where I saw Biden was ahead in
If the
Georgia
president says, I do
this
not
morning.
concede, there is fraud, and even though the courts
No, no,
help me
no.
on it, they're part of the fraud. Now what happens?
Well, what happens is that he does have a legitimate avenue to pursue his grievances under the recount laws and contest laws of the individual states. It's not a rhetorical play. They actually have to present proof that they're going to contest the elections. They certainly have the right in the narrow margin of states to ask for a recount. And, you know, the thing about recounts is that they can expose flaws in the system. So we have 10,500 jurisdictions
Valkyrie.
by volunteers.
Valkyrie,
So his really only shot there is
Come on, Val.
Pennsylvania, because the narrative breaks down in terms of, there was a conspiracy against Georgia or Arizona, because you got different administrations there,
Val.
single bad on their own. So it's Pennsylvania, and they do the review, and they
Val, come get your babies.
uses to concede. It's not in the Constitution, it's a tradition, and we've never tested.
It is, and frankly, it's irrelevant to the legal process. It means a lot in bringing the country together in the politics of the situation, but as a legal.
Come on, Val.
Does not,
Valkyrie.
it's not no concern with the legal process. Whether
Val,
you
come on.
ultimately concedes or not. In fact, the processes of
Come
the
on.
state will move along. The states will certify the election results, the precincts and counties. They will, once they certify the results, pick the slate of electors. That slate will go to the House of Representatives on January 6th. And the electoral college general will be declared.
And I remember at the time, we were like, look, we'll never see anything like this. That was boring compared to what we're looking at right now. Thank you so much for helping us understand.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
Especially these times of night. Pleasure. All right, so here we are. Let's take a little break.
Thank you, that's it.
I wanted to see if there is any more confirmation of where things stand in this election. Apparently, which is that Joe Biden.
Where's my son at?
President of the United States.
Where's Finn?
I'll find it.
One of those ones. You're my son.
At least you Mr. Boy.
For people taking cholesterol lowering statin drugs. I recommend acute off Q10 because it has 3 times better absorption than regular.
Hey, Dr. Chill.
It's hard to do the immobile to offer unlimited less than half of what the daycare is charged. So I've asked Teacher of the Year, Rodney Robinson, to check our math. Correct. $30 is less than half. Thank you for that, Rodney. Congratulations on your work. That's not too great.
Honestly, I get all the satisfaction I need from seeing kids in my
Right. Needs a bunch of random members of an academy to validate you. They know.
Are you okay?
No. Support the lid.
When I started corporate Kai, the lack of control over my business made me a little intense. But now I practice a different.
Your whole head could fit in my mouth.
To get paid, manage cash flow, and run payroll. And now I'm back on top with koala cod.
Save over 30 hours a month with this home business. An easy way to enhance your business.
Oh no, you hate coming home to a dark house and you're uptight about noises outside in the night. Outdoor lighting systems cost a fortune, and leaving lights on all night drives utility bills out of sight. You need the Bell & Biotic Spotlight, the outdoor motion sensor light that is motion activated, so it automatically turns on the instant motion is detected and turns off when the motion stops. Biotic Spotlight is totally powered, so there's no expensive wiring or battery to change. So you place the solar panel can soak up the sun and you're done. The panel collects the sun's energy to charge all day, so it has the power to provide light when and where you need it all night. A Biotic Spotlight looks just like a professional security camera, but is actually a high-tech security light with smart motion sensing technology. Look, the instant the motion sensor detects movement, Biotic Spotlight triggers 8 high-intensity LED lights that shower the entire area with light, covering over 600 square feet. The light stays on for as long as the motion continues, and then shuts off 30 seconds after it stops. So there's no more arriving home to a dark house. Illuminate walkways and stairwells for visitors and guests. Light up your garden at night, or the yard for kids and pets. Add Biotic Spotlight to your sports court, and help secure outbuildings and storage sheds. So you can spend hundreds of dollars on an outdoor lighting system, or you can save hundreds of dollars and get the motion-activated Biotic Spotlight for $19.95 with free shipping. Biotic Spotlight is year-round outdoor durable and backed by our warranty. And if it fails for any reason, return it for a full refund. But wait, if you order right now, you can double the offering and get a second Biotic Spotlight. Just pay a separate fee. You get it all. 2 Biotic Spotlights backed by our 5-year warranty for one low value price. And the shipping is free. And when you call, ask about the contractor's discount on a complete 6-light home value set. Biotic Spotlight is all you need. It's guaranteed. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-597-9307. That's 1-800-597-9307. Or online at bioticspotlight.com.
I know watching these localities on TV moves very slow, and it's as slow as it goes, it can be numbing. But never forget, the tallies aren't just numbers. They represent votes and voters. Men and women who exercise their fundamental right to have their voice heard. And what's becoming clear each hour is that record number of Americans of all races, faiths, religions chose change over more of the same. And given us a mandate for action.
Former vice president and possible president-elect is all of us right now. I don't even know what day it is. You just call it smurf. It just went from Monday to Friday or whatever. I think it's Saturday. So let's bring it down to $5. April Lyons, Scott Billings, you guys go. So here's the thing. I think people are, they just want to put out of their misery right now, Scott.
You turn around?
People are Republican or
Yes, sir.
People just want to either celebrate or
Turn around?
in their head that it is over their side. Call it. We can't do it right now.
Give it a call.
The math is not there, but
Give it a call.
people are ready for this to be done.
Yeah, look, I think it's natural after you have an election, and it's the most consequential transition of political power in the world, right? And so we've been having a very anxious period. It was a stressful election for a lot of people, and now it's over. And folks want to know what our future holds, whether it's Biden, which looks likely, or Trump, which looks unlikely at the moment. People want to know which direction the United States is going in. And I think, Don, frankly, what the United States needs more than anything is, no matter what happens, is to accept the results. I think we didn't have much acceptance, frankly, under Trump, but we should have acceptance in the future because it's the only way our democracy works is if we accept the outcome of elections.
You don't think people accept the results of President Trump? They may not like it, but I think they accept it.
No, I don't. I think there was resistance every single day of Donald Trump, and I don't think that will be good for the next president.
Do you agree with April? You're not shaking your head. I'm not sure if you agree or disagree.
Well, I agree with Scott. I like the fact that he said it's time to just call it what it is. We're on the cusp of Joe Biden being the voice of the
That's what I'm saying. Just say it.
So there are those who support Joe Biden, but then you have those.
Then quit feeding into their denial of science and mathematics.
A lot of this
I don't understand why they give credence to absurd ideas.
I will stop the count or continue the count.
Huh?
And Joe Biden is right, he may be opponent.
Like, just,
This is the time for you.
when they say dumb things, that's untrue and not based in reality. We're gonna move on.
It's holding up the peaceful transition of power to include the transition process for Joe Biden to begin to heal the nation and start to work for the American people.
Ricardo, you're ready to celebrate. I know you're ready to pop a champagne bottle. And I'm being totally serious, I'm not joking.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to celebrate. Even more importantly, I think that the normalcy, the calm, the demeanor, the grace, the empathy, the compassion that Joe Biden showed tonight is something that everybody in the country, Democrat or Republican, is grasping for. We missed that. We missed the time when you had a leader who could go up and not make it about him, who was bold and who showed how democracy works. And Joe Biden spoke to something today that I think is very important. He spoke to how fragile our democracy is and how he wasn't going to let it be torn apart. I think that's very powerful. To Scott's point about accepting the results, I understand that Scott is talking about the investigations into foreign interference, but I want to talk about this moment and draw a direct contrast. Because Hillary Clinton actually called the President of the United States in the middle of the night and conceded that election. She gave a speech the next day. I wish Donald Trump would actually be woman enough to be like Hillary Clinton, to actually have the audacity and the courage to come out and do what's best for the country. And so that would be more of an apples to apples comparison. Right now, I'm ready to, actually, I can't lie, I started celebrating on Wednesday morning. I'm celebrating Joe Biden, I'm even celebrating my friend Kamala Harris even more, and I'm celebrating what the future of this country looks like.
Tell us that this was the way he was going to react.
Where Donald Trump is president, and for me, that just makes me feel a lot better than I did the day before the election.
That's lying. I mean, did you practice that? Because that was really good. Listen,
I can't practice lying with you. I don't know where you're coming from so nice, so I just have to let it slow down sometimes.
I do it myself a lot. I gotta tell you, and I'm being serious about this because people are wondering, well, I'm getting texts, even people say, John, this is scandalous that you guys have not called. And my standard text back to them is that the map isn't there yet. But people see where it's heading, but you don't expect people to call an election when the map isn't there. We don't know what's going to happen. And you guys can
You got a hungry one there. You gotta multitask, Val. You gotta learn to multitask. Come on. Let's get with the efficiency program. You got a puppy hanging from you. Would you lay down? You can why did you just make those puppies pee all over that bed? Why would you do that?
There's going to be a loss today. There's going to be a loss today.
But there's nothing there. There is nothing there. They got over 600 attorneys across the nation who are moving into this place and there's nothing there. This is all for naught. But what state particularly the ones who were once red and they picked blue to go out first and make sure that all their eyes got in all the balance checks properly.
And for CNN, that we got to be right. More than anything, we don't have to be first or fast. We got to be right. But Scott, I want to ask you. I've watched. This is my job, so I watch conservative media, watch all kinds of media, read everything. And before this, the president was saying, conservative media saying, the people need to know. They need to know the night of the election. This needs to stop. It can't go any longer than the night of the election. Now they're saying, well, why rush it? Let it all play out. Have a count, have a recount, and all this. Which is it? The night of the election, or does it let it play out as long as it is? Which is it? I'm confused. I don't really know which one that they actually believe, or do they not believe any of it?
Well, it is what it is in the moment that they think it needs to be. As confusing as that sounds, I mean, like they're clearly grasping for strategy, in 10-minute increments, and the strategy is different depending on the state, right? I want to count here, I don't want to count there, and I agree, the writing is largely on the wall here, but I guess they're going to give it, the old college try. But when in these situations, I heard Mr. Ginsburg on, who I have great admiration for earlier. When you're ahead, when you have more votes, which is now the case for Biden in all these states, that's when you have all the leverage and all the. You're on offense in these situations because once votes are counted, it's very unlikely votes are going to come off the board, and that's the situation that Trump became.
I wonder, as I'm watching this all play out in real time, how much more can we take? We had the murder of Hornets earlier in the year. We're doing this historic election on top of a pandemic. I'm serious. We're doing on top of a pandemic. We have an administration, who's basically ignored it, saying, trying to make it all rosy when we have hundreds of thousands of people who have died from this. And now you see the chief of staff, and then you see aides in the West Wing or aides of the chief of staff now are positive with coronavirus. You could not write this. If you wrote this for a West Wing episode, they would send it back and say this would never happen. Start over again.
The first thing is, let me just say that my heart goes out to the family of Mark Meadows and the staff for praying for him to have a great recovery from this deadly virus. The contrast couldn't be clearer, though. You see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris walk on stage to claim the mantle of the presidency and vice presidency, but they're wearing masks. They're leading by example. I think that there are a lot of people, and what we're going to see when we peel back the layers is there were a lot of issues that drove people to the polls, but the number one issue was leadership on the coronavirus, and the leadership going down two fronts. One was the economy, the other one was public health, and it's something that Donald Trump just could not get right, and tonight was so apropos. It just fits perfectly. But yeah, I think that one of the things you highlighted is the level of exhaustion we have over this last 4 years, the level of exhaustion we have with this president. But I can tell you this, the next 30 days or 60 days or until the inauguration, if we thought the first 4 years were bad, if we thought the first 4 years were filled with turns and ups and downs and hurdles and pitfalls, wait until this president knows that he will not be president for another 4 years, and he will remain in this White House as president of the United States, fundamentally unchecked. That is what's scary for me. That's the angst that I have, and that's kind of the chapter that's next to come.
Hey, April, quick answer, because we're going to have you guys back. 74 million people, is that a mandate?
74 million people know it's about unification. It's about people understanding that there are problems here. COVID, racial reckoning, climate change, the economy. It is the fact that there are people out here who want change, but he also has to bring in that other group that don't feel like they've been touched by government.
All right, thank you very much. We'll get back to you guys. Stand by. And you stand by at home as well, because we're waiting for the votes to come in. They're being counted. We'll go ahead further in Pennsylvania. We're looking at, look at that. Pretty close there. 49.1, 49. Don't go anywhere with key racing.
It's Shiori.
What?
Shiori. Adam, Emily, and then Shiori. Thank you. That's great.
Your best skin begins with clean. The deep in your pores kind of clean you get with a new Outlines Facial Steamer from Vanity Planet. Its warm, hydroionic steam opens your pores to help cleanse away grime and old makeup for fresh, skin that glows. You can check out our 5-star reviews and see all the Vanity Planet influencer favorite products at vanityoutlines.com and at a retailer near you. Vanity Planet, because good skin is always in.
Humira patients, this one's for you. You inspired us to make your Humira experience even better with Humira Citrate Free. It has the same effectiveness you know and trust, but we remove the citrate buffers. There's less liquid and a thinner needle with less pain immediately following injection. Ask your doctor about Humira Citrate Free, and you can use your copay card to pay as little as $5 a month. Humira can lower
lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask your doctor about Humira citrate free, the same Humira you trust with less pain immediately following injection.
If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
Do I just keep cutting there, gentle? Sweet, you just be gentle with it. Okay. Maybe I'll try to stand up to it.
New projects means new project managers. You need to hire.
I need
Indeed, you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. So you can start hiring right away. Claim your $75 credit when you post your first job at Indeed.com/home.
I shot for jeans online last night. The man just isn't. Now I'm gonna just buy. I might find him. And I check on the stuff all in my phone. I shop for
Unrivaled research, unbiased reviews, undiscovered gems, uncovering the best. CNN_. See all our reviews and recommendations at _.
So, what you got going on over here, Bob?
I got the same meeting putting in a furnace and heat pump for me.
Are you sure you made the right decision?
Guys, that's my guarantee, Bob. Satisfaction guarantee, Bob. Extended warranty on every system, Bob.
That does sound pretty good. Swing by my place next. Receive a free furnace with a virtual American Standard heating and air conditioning, heat pump, and air cleaning package. There's no beating CME.
I'm Erica Hill. We're about to be processed in Clark County, Nevada, and this is CNN.
All right, so we're in the phase now here in